So it doesn't even have to be across the industry. You can get an industry, right? Let's say landscaping. Figure out a way to create efficiencies on how you capture customers, on how you pay how you collect your checks, on how you route your people, and just that business is going to be incredibly competitive against everybody else.
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
How would you like to make your first million? And today we have a guest. His name is Amer Tadayon, the CEO and founder of Lucihub. So Amer, tell us, what are the 5 steps to make your first million?
So I think the first thing is you got to have an idea, right? And so I'll give you my feedback and my input from starting the companies I've started, which are product companies. But I'd say first do your research, make sure you know what you're getting into, so that when you're 6 months in, you don't realize, oh, I probably shouldn't have gone this route. So do your research. That's the first. The second one, and it's really important, is try and fail. So if you look at Lucihub today, the platform we have today isn't what we started with. In fact, we did 3 rapid prototypes, tested them in market, threw them away and started over. So try and fail, right? The third one is get the right people. It's always who, not how. If you have the right people, you have a greater chance for success. And being an entrepreneur is all about minimizing risk, because it's probably the riskiest thing you're going to do. And then the fourth thing I would say is get the right money. There really is a difference between good and bad money. And if you get the wrong people who put in the wrong kind of money, it's going to cost you your company and your business. And I think the fifth one is jump all in. I see too many entrepreneurs who try to do this side hustle for so long that it never takes off, because it's always just a side hustle. You have to pay your bills, but at some point you have to make a commitment to the project and you have to go all in, or it's just always going to be a hobby or a side hustle.
Yeah, and then I want to ask you, because in this podcast, right, 1 out of 5 that we interview, they're either in tech or in property. So it seems that become a tech entrepreneur is a very good way to become wealthy. So what's your view on this? Why being a tech entrepreneur is an advantage, or is it really an advantage, or people are not aware that not because few people have made it, it's actually tech is a little bit competitive and is difficult to make it if you don't know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, tech is incredibly difficult if you don't know what you're doing. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make is they'll have an idea and they'll find a programmer. They say, I found a guy to build my product. I'm going to tell you this: building production quality software is incredibly difficult, and it's never the job of one person. Anytime I've started a business, the software pieces had to be with a team. Yeah, you can get one programmer to create what we would call a proof of concept, but as soon as you're going to put something in market, you better have the engineers, you better have the quality assurance team, right? You better have really good front end design. It takes a team to build great software. And I think one of the biggest mistakes I see is people go, oh, I found a guy who's going to build this for me. No guy is ever going to build you production quality software. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I've seen entrepreneurs make when they want to get into tech. But I will tell you how tech could be incredibly successful for anybody. I think the best way to start a company and be successful is to find a market that is low tech and add tech to it, right? So you find a market
I love it.
that's
I love it.
it's fragmented, it's disparate, it's incredibly low tech. And then what you do is you can apply basic technologies to create efficiencies. And those efficiencies will give you a competitive advantage in that particular industry. So it doesn't even have to be across the industry. You can get an industry, right? Let's say landscaping. Figure out a way to create efficiencies on how you capture customers, on how you how you collect your checks, on how you route your people, and just that business is going to be incredibly competitive against everybody else. So it doesn't have to be a tech company. It could be the application of tech in a low tech business, and you could hugely succeed that way.
Now let's talk about, because we see a lot. I think it's a misconception. I think obviously the people see the founder of Facebook, they think the founder of Google, they think all these people, and they think that to be a successful tech entrepreneur, you have to be a software developer. And we find out that everybody that is succeeding in tech, most of the people actually, they are not software developers. They do understand something even more important than the software, which is get the product market fit. Because I think that when we have tech founders that they are software developers, they are immersed in the software and they want to make the software the best they can for the client, but it doesn't work like that. You have to be able to not create the software that you think that is going to work for the client. We have to be able to create the product that the clients need and want, and they are willing to spend money. So how you find out in your career that, for example, this thing that you share with me is actually very powerful. That you told me, Harry, we have to do 3 iterations, and then the fourth one is was actually what works. Why? From where do you got this strength that you say, okay, you know what, we just need to give it up and start it over again? Whether what we see out there is people putting more money, resources, and everything, trying to build the perfect software, and then when you go out there, nobody wants to buy it, and people keep keep focusing. Oh, is the tech that had to be better, and they keep developing and developing without listening to the clients.
Yeah, so that's a really good point and a really good question. In our case with Lucihub, what happened was we came up with an idea to get videos turned around really fast for events. And we specifically went after weddings, right? Most wedding videographers don't return a video for 6 months. We said we're going to return it that night. So our system was designed to deliver a video 2 hours after the reception started. And it's a great market and it could still work. But then we had a
It's a
public
lot of
relations.
value there.
There is a lot of value there in the wedding space. But then what happened was we had a public relations firm say, hey, we have 2 customers who are announcing products at this large conference, and they want their announcement to be online before the press gets it online. Can you use your technology to do that? And what happened, Harry, is we made 10 times the revenue, 20 times the revenue as we would have on one wedding. And so we looked at this and we said, this is an even better market and it has huge needs for what we're doing. And so we that was, by the way, that was the second product we threw away. We threw that away. We started back and we said, we're going to build an
Wow, you
enterprise
started from
platform.
scratch again?
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
But we learned a lot of lessons.
That's
So we
very
were able to
brave,
get it
yeah?
faster.
Not too many people do that, right? They hang on to because they say, well, I invest a lot of money in this wedding thing. I need to make this wedding thing to work, and I don't want to do it. So why how you find the strength to see, this is a better market. We need to repurpose our product, and let's go for it again. And remember, this is just the second time. You have 2 more times.
So this was actually the third time. I think this was the third time. But here's why. In one day, we generated as much business as we would have having to do 20 wedding events. And so what we realized was the enterprise is willing to pay for this value much more than somebody getting married is. And then what we looked at is we looked at our product market fit, and we said, you know what, events are great, but there's a bigger problem in the market. You have the enterprise that has to feed this beast called social media. And traditionally, they would spend tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a video, and they would use it for an entire year. They would have cut downs versions of it. Those days are over. You're lucky if your video has a week of shelf life. So we said, our model is actually a better fit for enterprise than it is for weddings, because there is a need for content cost effectively. And so now it's not just about events. We have companies using us for recruiting videos, for product highlight videos, for testimonial videos. So we found a much broader market by making that pivot. And it was basically making a decision to, yes, weddings will be a big market and you could go be successful there, but we could be much more successful at the enterprise. And
But
so
this have
that's why we did it.
something, yeah, but this have something to do as a, with you as a tech entrepreneur, that you're willing to surrender your initial idea and pivot, not because of what you want, is what the client want, what the client need, and how you find a bigger audience, and then you say, okay, you know what, this is what they want, and let's pivot. Take a lot of courage, and not too many people. So, which message do you have for tech entrepreneurs out there that
I think the
don't do
message,
what you did? Because I invest in tech. I'm on the space, and I see a lot, and this is actually uncommon, and maybe probably is the reason why you're successful.
I think the biggest problem with entrepreneurs is they're married to their baby. It's their baby and they want to see it. There's still one person in this company who keeps saying, we should have stayed the course 2 years later, right? And I look at them and I go, we would have been out of business if we stayed the course, right? For every deal we sign in enterprise, it's like signing 40 to 50 weddings, right? So, but I think it's because people are married to they're so married to their ideas that they're willing to let go. And one of the hardest lessons I learned here is if you take a step back and you just kind of let the universe fill the gaps, you're going to have a better product and a better business.
Yeah. So tell us about the next iteration.
So the next iteration was, we were an AI-based company before ChatGPT was available. We were using ML and computer vision, right?
Yeah, because you had this is the only way that you can do fast the thing, right?
So then ChatGPT came out, and we were a Microsoft Founders Hub member, so we had access to all the open AIs. And I said, guys, our product today goes from production to final. If we deploy a unified platform with all of the open AI tools, we can go from idea to final. So we put the brakes on all the tech we were building on the back end because
oh my God,
we'd already created efficiencies. One of our editors can probably do 10 times the edits that a traditional production company could do. We'd already created efficiencies. We already had capacity. So I said, hey, let's put the brakes on and let's build this front end because it's going to be really important. And so today what we have is we have this really great platform that lets you use AI to create a script, a shot list, a voiceover, a blog, a social media post, but then you can push it into our production platform, film your content, and our editors take it to the finish line. We're the only hybrid platform in the world that combines AI technology, cloud technology, and professional editors. That pivot got us a better product.
wow, that sounds amazing. So, in the end, so what happened with the weddings? You still offering the service?
You know, we have one client that wants to do weddings with us, and they're a large studio, and they do 900 weddings a year. So they're a channel partner, and we do weddings for them, but that's the only place we do weddings. We don't do weddings anymore.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.